Welcome to the Shake Up Podcast. I'm your host and co-founder of Mr. Consistent, Jarrad Bell. This is a podcast where we invite friends of the brand into our studio. We get to know their story a little bit better. We chat all things business, culture and marketing, all while shaking up a few cocktails. This week on the Shake Up Podcast, we have Bianca Boulden. Bianca shares her story of how she went from visual merchandiser to tour manager and being a part of a nationally recognised music and lifestyle event known as For the Love. With numerous events set to go ahead across Australia, they were all postponed due to you know who, old COVID-19. This episode is a little bit chopped up and we actually had Bianca come back in and join us to explain what is actually going on behind the scenes and what these people who are organising these large-scale events are actually going through. This episode may feel like a bit of a roller coaster ride, so buckle up and let's get into it. The vibe has gone up another level. This week on the mic with me, we have the very beautiful Bianca Boulden. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. I'm good.
Very
How
good.
Are you?
Yeah, not bad. It's Friday. We're recording this on a Friday. We're drinking a margarita.
Yeah, what more could you want, really?
We're about to have a good time. We're about to rip in. Bianca grew up in Cabarita, live on the Gold Coast now, but give us your timeline, give us your background. Like you now work, I know you work for the Love. You're a tour manager. You've had a heap of roles. We've known each other for a long time, but you've jumped from role to role to role and they've just progressively got cooler and cooler and cooler and cooler.
I love that. I'll definitely take that.
We always seem to run into each other, whether it be in Sydney or when me and Tom were DJing or whatever.
Yeah.
But every time I see you, you're either managing somebody new or you're working on a new project or you've got something really cool going on. So do you want to give us a little timeline on Bianca?
Sure.
Because we met at like Miami at a house party or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're working at Billabong at the same time, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Billabong. It wasn't at Sports Girl, was it?
No, you were at Sports Girl.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yep.
I was going to say, I think it was at Sports Girl because then I met obviously you and then Carissa at...
Carissa is my wife.
Yeah.
So
Carissa at Billabong.
Yeah.
Well, basically I studied interior design, got a job with an interior design company called Move In.
Yeah.
I lasted there maybe a month. It wasn't really my vibe. I didn't really want to be lifting heavy furniture and putting it together.
What was it? Like the interior design was like moving it sounds like self-explanatory, like where you move people's furniture in and do their flat packs for them.
Kinda. Like it was basically like building IKEA furniture for them for like uni students.
Absolute G up.
Yeah, not my vibe. Like what am I even thinking? Anyway, I went back to uni, same school, studied fashion design. Got an internship at Cosmo, didn't really like going through shoe cupboards.
Yep.
Then got, do you know a local photographer from the Gold Coast called George Antoni?
Yes, I've heard of him.
He's amazing.
Yep.
Started styling with him. I was like his assistant stylist.
Yeah.
Finished that, actually got a job at Sports Girl as a visual merchandiser. Did that for the state.
Visual merchandiser, for those who don't know, is like you did like window displays, how the
store layout.
Yeah, store layout, like how people shop.
Yeah. Yeah, the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Did that and then moved to, I actually got headhunted by Billabong. Moved to the Billabong office, did that nationally.
Yep.
I don't even know, I can't even remember how long I lasted there for. But
that was when the surf industry was in its heydays, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone was getting paid way too much and having a real good time.
Yeah, and we didn't have limits on the credit
There's
card.
no
Shit,
budgets.
that were the days.
No budgets.
Rounds of tequila shots 24/7, didn't have to tell anything about it. So I did that, went through a pretty bad breakup, so then I left the Gold Coast and got a transfer to Suffection, which is like an element obviously off Billabong.
Yep.
Moved to Sydney, loved it. Didn't realise how expensive it was to breathe in Sydney. I like to call it breathing tax because I feel like the minute you walk out, you're spending $50 just
100%,
on air.
Yeah.
Got that, was working down there, then kind of got headhunted by One Teaspoon.
Yep.
Worked there for a year. Then
cool.
Yeah.
Cool so far.
It's going up. Then from One Teaspoon went to an agency because I realised I didn't even know what PR was, but I was kind of doing a PR role at One Teaspoon as well as visual merchandising. And started working with what are they called? Two Birds Talking. They're now called One Day Dream, but I was working with Two Birds Talking as their PR manager. So I was on like Nike, Nova, Novo shoes. Is that what it was called? Yeah. Lavisa, Cookai, Mini Cooper, Quiet Deeds, a Melbourne beer, like all these cool brands. Loved that. Made all these friends with like influencers, which back then it was kind of just like movie stars or TV stars, like Home and Away, basically. Let's be
real.
real.
It's basic. Yeah, it was literally like like those small like TV shows where the influencers. There was no actual.
There was no like influencers, like just for no reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just started to like make friends with these people. I guess I never really thought of them as that. I just wanted to, I didn't want to make friends with everyone, but there was a few that I was just like, shit, you're a legend. Let's be mates.
Yeah.
So then from that role, my best friend, Jay Edwards, he basically was wanting to start a hair chain and he hadn't started it yet. But because of like my contacts and my database of people that I'd kind of collected at Two Birds Talking.
Yeah.
And I guess at One Teaspoon too, because I was selling out shorts and stuff.
Even before the Instagram days, like this was like, this is probably like a lot of that through the MySpace era and then into Facebook. So it wasn't like you just had a contact list of, influencers on hand. It was like actual phone numbers and like legitimate contacts.
I remember when I was at One Teaspoon, I walked up, I was at Shady Pines, this sick little saloon bar in Sydney.
It's a sick, like peanuts on the floor.
Yeah,
you sit at the bar, you go to the bartender, you're like, I want to drink this. Like it's always a different menu. It is a, you go through like a
saloony type door.
Yeah, it's like a fridge door almost on the outside.
No, you're thinking of Soda Factory. That place is off his head too.
Yeah, but like the outside of Shady Pines is like, it's ghetto. There's just like a security guard and then like there's no sign.
It's down a dark alley. You're thinking, shit, what's going to happen down here? Yeah. There was this chick there. She was an absolute babe. And I was kind of like watching stupid shows like Home and Away and stuff because I just moved to Sydney. I was working at One Teaspoon for like, I think 6 months maybe. And my role was kind of like PR coordinator and visual merchandiser. Anyway, I was trying to get to know like the Sydney lights, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know who all these Sydney siders were. And I started watching Home and Away and there was Samara Weaving. And back then, mate, she was just a girl on Home and Away. Like she was not this huge movie star. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, I love you. Like, you're the best on the show. You're super cute. Should we be friends? And I'll never forget it. She was standing at the bar, looked at me and was like, is this chick for real? I love her. And then I got her number. I got her postal address. I sent her out some One Teaspoon shorts and we're still mates now. Like, we still catch up in LA. She's the fucking best.
That's so cool.
Anyway, I got off track. But,
one teaspoon to
Edwards and Co. Yeah, or just One Teaspoon to Two Birds Talking, and then I went to Edwards and Co.
Yep.
And I just started bringing in all these chicks like to Edwards and Co. to kind of like build the brand up.
Yep.
Basically, Jay, I think Instagram had maybe been around for like a year, maybe two. I'm not entirely sure. Exactly.
Facebook was still dominating, like it wasn't popping off.
Facebook was dominating. Lara Bingle was in her fucking prime, like absolute prime. And Jay was doing her hair and I'm like, mate, this is the time.
Tell people.
Like, we need to be like telling the world that you're doing Lara Bingle's hair. So then it was just articles that were coming out as like Jay Edwards. So he was kind of like this balayage specialist. And I was like, fuck, we need to milk this. Like, we need to go with this and do whatever we can. So we kind of built a bit of an empire. Jay and I for 8 years, like globally recognized hair movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like coming out of Australia. Like it was one of the biggest accomplishments I've probably ever done. And working with your best friend, like it's pretty fun. You'd know with Tommy.
Good fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
We got lots of good friends in this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
You do. It's good. So that was pretty much it. And then, everything comes to an end. I kind of needed a new venture.
8 years. It was 8 years you were there. That's almost long service, like that's a long
time.
Bloody time to be working on one project.
Yeah.
For anybody.
And my not priorities, but like I feel like my vibe changed a little bit.
Yeah.
It just kind of like I started working a little bit with music. I was doing tour managing for a girlfriend of mine, and it only actually started out because I wanted just to be with her and see what the music industry was all about.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit, this is me. What am I doing?
Should have managed Tom and Jerry. We could have been something.
I know. You could have.
Like, fuck. Anyway,
we're
here now. Me and Tom used to DJ, obviously, and Bianca used to come to shows, but she never offered to manage us. And now I'm sitting here. Could have been Diplo. That's cool.
Could have been Diplo. Could have been flight facilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we're here now.
They were good times. So then I started working with her, and then I kind of said to Jay, hey, I'm thinking about moving back to the Gold Coast. I want to get in the property market. I can't afford Sydney. I can barely afford to eat. Like, I've got to go.
You can't do shit down there, eh? Like you look at like I was living down there probably 12 months ago, and it was like a 1-bedroom unit to rent is like triple what it is here on the Gold Coast. Like people, like I didn't really understand, like exactly you said, I didn't really understand the cost of living down there, but it is way higher.
Way higher.
And everyone's like, let's get a drink, let's do that. And a cocktail's $25. It's not $18.
Yeah.
Like,
but then like the Uber to get there, it's like $40 because you're stuck in peak hour traffic.
There's no $6 schooners at Palmy Pub.
No. There's no happy hours either.
So you moved back?
So I moved back, bought a house, quit at Edwards & Co. And it was honestly just timing. Ben, my now boss, he put up something on Facebook being like, does anyone know any guns in partnerships?
Yep.
And the girl that I actually tour managed, she actually tagged me in it.
Yeah.
And then he was
Good
like,
reference.
oh shit, Bianca. Like he'd met me at a few shows that he'd obviously had over the years.
Yeah.
And he called me straight away and he was like, oh my God, I don't even know why I didn't think of you. Like, would you be interested? And I was like, are you kidding? That's my dream. And then kind of the rest is history now. Yeah.
And Ben, so people understand, like Ben
is the
owner of For the Love Festival, which is we did the Urban Surf one, Urban Surf one with you guys. Thank you for bringing us in on that. It was an absolute good time.
Yeah.
And then you guys got some more coming up as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. But how good? Like,
it's so good. I manage a band too called KX. As well, so it's kind of like I'm now just focusing all my time purely on music. It's good.
Your plate is full.
Yeah, my plate is full.
Feeling good, feeling happy.
Yeah.
Feels like all those transitions were like, they're just natural progressions of a job, right? Or like a career, like you find something you don't really like it or you really like it and you're like, I want to go down that path, and you find like getting headhunted or moving to new opportunities just opens up the door and you just keep progressing.
It's all about who you meet.
Absolutely.
And like keeping those relationships. Don't be an asshole. Like don't think you're better than someone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just like keep those relationships going because you never know where that person's going to go.
Keep the doors open and the bridges across the rivers.
Yeah.
Because one day you need to get across the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we'll get into more. We'll get into a little bit more of that after this. But I think because we're drinking a couple of cocktails here, we're going to get you to make one.
Okay.
You've had a couple of Mr. Consistent cocktails in your time.
I have, but I've actually never made one.
You've never made one?
No, because even when I took
that
some
privileged life.
I know.
Somebody else making them for you.
Hey, look, you guys can come over and make them anytime for me.
Living that privileged life.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're going to do the speed test. The whole idea behind this is to prove how quick we can make Mr. Consistent cocktails.
Okay, I love that. Do I win something if I'm the fastest?
You're going home with the prize anyway.
Oh, woohoo!
But maybe we can make a deal for later on.
I think I know what the deal is.
Hey, Josh.
I'm not selling my stuff. But
why not?
But who's at the top over there, Tommy? Am I still at the top? I think I'm at the top.
I think Jarrad, it says.
At the top. 20 seconds 49.
20 seconds 49. Top three. Mikey's in third.
You're one of the owners. Like you need to be the quickest.
This is purely about like speed and just having a clear mind and just knowing what the goal is here. Where like the others, like Mikey, who makes all of our product and is the bartender, is it third?
He's third, yeah.
He's
22.
He's 22. I beat him.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm focused and I'm in.
Okay.
Like I know what I'm doing.
I reckon you're on B.
Yeah, I reckon I could be on. As long as I can move things back, I've got room.
We're going to make a bit of mess in here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get you in the top three.
Yeah, I need to be in the top three. Like,
so
let's be real.
22-16 is Mikey. That's third.
Is there anybody on the board that you want to beat?
We've got Dimity, Cat. Who was Elijah?
Sure, you want to beat Dimity.
100% I'm beating Dim.
Right,
28-72.
Oh, yeah, I've got to beat Dim.
All right, so that's the goal. We're going to beat you, Dim. Sorry,
Jim. She lives in my building. Like, she'll understand.
Too. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have drunk margies together and probably Mr. Consistent margies together. But let's do it. Let's get this stuff out here. We'll make this cocktail. We'll see how fast you can go. And then we're going to dig into more of your career and the Edwards & Co thing and For the Love and all the fun stuff that you do day to day and actually learn
my life.
learn about how you manage artists and people and all the fun things.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're going to do the speed test. We've got a goal. It's to beat Dimity, 28-72.
Yeah.
We're going to run through it. We're not going to walk through it. We're going to run through this. We're going to get you to hopefully third place, but we're aiming for fourth to knock Dim off. 75 mils of mix, Mr. Consistent Cosmo mix. We're making Cosmos today with gin. 45 mils of the booze, second line down on the jigger. Ice, close the lid, shake, open the lid, strain, fruit on top. I've given you some tips. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
We're going to go.
Feeling confident.
Feeling confident. We're going to go on 3, 2, 1, go. On go
So
is
wait,
when we go.
Okay.
So push that mic away in case you're going to fly some stuff
I'm
around.
definitely going to fly some stuff around.
All right, Reese, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, she's gone ice first. Tactical, all the way top. Tip the bottle upside down. All the way. Keep going. There we go. There we go. Dump it in. Gin, second line down. This is good time. You're at 10 seconds here. Dump it in.
Come on, Bianca.
Glass on top.
You know what's at
Shake.
stake.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Crack it
Crack it open.
Oh.
Strain it out. Strain it out. Remember the fruit. One hand. One hand. She's not done the one hand.
Oh.
Quick. Fruit. Bang.
Oh, let's
26. 26. Let's go.
Look, it's not a top 3, but hey, close.
26.
Very,
26.
very close. Mikey's
Oh, my
still
Lord.
22-16, but hey, the person you wanted to be,
Why I
baby.
told you the one-handed strain. I could have. You dead set could have knocked, I reckon, 3 seconds, 4
I
seconds off that
know.
bad boy.
I forgot about that.
26.
I feel like I let you down with that tip. That was a good tip.
26. I gave you the tip and you didn't take it.
Always take the tip, Bianca.
All right, let's clean this shit up. We'll come back. All right, Bianca, 26. You're going into 4th place.
Hell
You're
yeah.
the best guest we've had. How you
Sick.
feel?
I feel good. Like,
Feeling good.
Yeah.
It was neat and tidy. It was clean.
Yeah, not one spill.
It's delicious. I'm on.
You're on. Epic. And I like the numbers. 2626.
626. Very
Just like
fun-
BB.
Very feng shui.
Yeah.
I want to go back because you obviously had this long career working for lots of different companies, like loads of different companies.
Mm-hmm.
You went like 8 years at Edwards & Co. collecting a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're like, fuck it, I'm going to be a freelancer.
Yeah. Before the pandemic, 3
Right.
months before.
3 months before the pandemic, you're like, rightio, I'm going to be a freelancer and I'm going to be a tour manager. And
The music industry is about to die.
if you had a crystal ball, would you have done it?
Yeah, I still would. I don't think I'd change anything, to be honest. I was pretty burnt out. I needed a bit of a break.
Yep.
So I took the pandemic as a holiday, forced holiday,
Yeah.
very, very long forced holiday.
But did you have things when you were at Edwards & Co? Like, did you wrap? Like, was it just like, all right, I'm gonna resign in 3 months' time and 2 months? Because you're obviously friends with
Yeah.
the guy. You said I'm going to resign in 1 month, 2 months' time. You started setting things up and being like, as soon as I drop out of this job, you're obviously doing some other stuff behind
Yeah.
the scenes. It was like just gearing up to not gear up.
Yeah, well, I kind of
essentially.
gave him like a 6 months time. I think it was 4 months actually in
Like
the
a
end.
timeline.
A timeline of like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I moved back to the Gold Coast in December. We went on this holiday, me, myself and Jay and a few other friends. We went down to Tasmania for like 2 weeks, I think it was.
Yeah.
During that holiday, I got the phone call from Ben being like, you've got the job, you start in a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I'm on this holiday with Jay. Like, what am I going to do? And I said to him, hey, I need to talk to you about work stuff. He said, no work stuff. We're on a holiday, like no work stuff. So I actually had to call our like COO and be like, hey, this is kind of what's gone down. I have to follow it.
Does he just not talk about what you're on a holiday, no work stuff?
Nah, because we're very like this is best friend time, and then
Yeah.
this was work time. We tried not to cross those times over because we used to live together. Like we lived together,
Yeah,
we
right.
worked together, we traveled the world together. Like we were in each other's
Yeah.
pockets.
You have to
You've got to set the boundaries. And the bigger that the company got, the more we had to set the boundaries, you know? And also people were like, oh, she gets favored. Like Bianca, she gets favored.
Oh, they
It's
live together. They're just best friends.
they're best friends. They do everything
Bianca
together.
gets what Bianca wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Bianca gets what Bianca wants because she's fucking good at it.
Because she's hustling like a bitch and while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I got the phone call, and then Jay was actually pretty supportive about it when he found out, and he knew that I wanted to be in music. So he was like,
Yep.
go do it. I just need you to commit to these like things because we
Yeah.
had Sephora events and all this other stuff. So I basically took my suitcase from Tasmania to Melbourne, started working in Melbourne with Ben.
Yeah.
Had to hire a car. Like everything was kind of just
Ben's for the love.
For the love, yeah.
Ben's for the love.
Literally had to like hire a car. Like I just set my life up in Melbourne. Lucky my sister lives down there and I just like lived in her house. But yeah, so then I was kind of doing the two. Like I was managing my email at Edwards & Co. Of an evening, working for the Love during the day, flying in and out of Melbourne to Sydney when I needed to for an event. And then we went on tour and I'll never forget it because it was like all kind of happening at the same time. Like I settled for my apartment that I bought in Rainbow on Friday the 21st of Feb. Saturday the 22nd was FTL Gold Coast. So I'm bumping in this whole bloody site doing the event.
While trying to move into a house.
While moving in on the Sunday. So I'm hungover as fuck. Moving in on the Sunday morning with my parents just going, kill me. And then the next day flew to Perth because we were then bumping in at Perth. Yeah. And then Perth wrapped and we were all stoked. I came home. I was on a high. I'd bought an apartment. I was like, fuck, this is sick. And then a week later, I get this email. Splendor's cancelled. You're not working on this. What? This is cancelled. You're not working on this. What? What do you mean?
The cancellation just
Coachella
came
cancelled. I'm like, how am I going to make money?
Far out. That would be.
Couldn't get JobKeeper because I just had started my business.
Had to have like a 6-month track record or something to get JobKeeper.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a nightmare. I'm pretty lucky that I've been spending money at Commune in Coolangatta for the past 12, 15 years or however long that establishment's been around. But Tony was like, shit, you're not working. I could use your help. Let's rebrand the whole bar. So I basically just worked for Tony while I waited for FTL to come back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And then like, fuck, it would have scared the shit. Like I was pretty scared because I was doing the same sort of thing, like digital marketing for venues and hospitality, and everything just went like dead silent on me. And that's the reason this business exists, is because hospitality died. We had to do something and make something happen. Mm-hmm. But fuck, I was scared.
Yeah,
like, I probably never really like said it enough, but I was shitting a brick when
same.
Like because I did stuff for Red Bull and like Jeremy, our business partner, he had a restaurant. He was one of my business biggest clients, and all of a sudden he was like, "Sorry, man, it's nothing. Like, we can't pay the retainer." You know, everyone just cut me off, and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, because like marketing and stuff's always the first thing to go.
100%. Like, we got nothing to market. See ya.
Yeah.
You had no one to tour.
Totally.
Nowhere to tour. Nowhere to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty full on. I definitely hit rock bottom in that year at certain points, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I just put my mortgage on hold. I really learnt from it. I ate through every single bit of my savings. Well, not everything, but close to.
Yeah.
But I've never stopped. I've never taken a year to go traveling around the world, or the longest holiday I've ever been on is 8 weeks. So I just took it as like, time to reconnect, regroup. I'm living back on the Gold Coast. What better place could you be?
Lucky they let you put your mortgage on hold. Like there was some things like that the government did do to help out, like obviously JobKeeper and those kind of things. But like I guess there's no better place to be forcibly made to have time off but home.
Yeah, exactly.
Rainbow Bay.
What more could you want? Walking around Snapper, watching the surf every day. Shit, life's good.
That's so cool.
Life's good.
Like, was there a point where you're like, fuck, rightio, this is growing old. I've quit my job. I wanted to, like, I've gone and set all these goals. This time off is surely this time off's coming to an end. Do you go, fuck, rightio? Like Ben probably would have reached out and been like, we need to plan for when things do open up. Mm-hmm. We need to be I think you guys were pretty much first to market with a festival once you were able to have a festival.
Because we got government funding. So basically what happened was that Ben gave me a call. We really kept in touch the whole of COVID, like as you do. You keep in touch with like everyone. And just to check in and make sure that everyone's doing okay. Yeah, basically Ben just gave me a call and he was like, hey, I need you to put together a resume for the government because we're going ham and we're going to go for this government funding. They were only giving us, I don't even know the exact figure, but they were giving like, say, 100 million to different.
It's like the RISE grant, right?
Yeah, RISE.
Yeah, the RISE grant, which is like an awesome like thing that the government's doing, is to get festivals and live music back up and running, but nobody really knows about it. All they're doing is it's one of those things where they're letting football games go through and not music festivals.
100%, but they make money on football games.
Well, yeah,
so.
but yeah, and they're giving out money to get festivals to happen. So there's kind of like a bit of an imbalance.
Yeah, 100%. So I just put together my resume, and Ben was like, sit tight. I'm working hard for this, because it was only really me, Ben, and then a marketing manager that were kind of in the team.
Yep.
So it's not like there was that many of us that were needing to survive. It was only the three of us. But at the same time, like, you never, like, being a festival go-to girl, like, I went to Big Day Out every year. And
every single one.
Yeah, every single festival. Literally, I lived it.
Oh, there's Bianca. Wonder if Bianca be I'd text
Good
you and be
vibrations, there she is.
I'll be like texting me like, oh, I wonder if Bianca's here. I'd text you and like, oh, there she is over there.
Literally, I love it. Live and breathe it. Like being like the festival go-to girl, like I never thought of like the ins and outs of an event. You know what I mean? I never thought about the roadies, and like the roadies are ones that like they've gone through shit. Like those guys have gone through hard times.
Literally.
You're not thinking about them, how they're surviving. You're thinking about whoever's coming on stage, whether it's Rufus to Soul or whatever. You're thinking about the act.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about the team, and they've got a team of like 20 people.
Yeah.
And then like the food trucks, like, you know, the people that Blues Fest, that was the biggest thing that broke my heart. Like all those food trucks have all that food that they've created and made and prepped and everything. And then one day before, you're like, sorry, see ya.
They're set up, they're ready to go, and then sorry.
Yeah. I actually went down and bought some food from the food trucks, the Mexican one after Blues Fest, because I felt so bad. I was like, give me anything. I'll buy it all. Meanwhile, I can't afford to really eat.
kind of mortgages on hold.
Yeah, mortgages on hold.
But give me all the Mexican.
Yeah. Give me the nachos. I'll eat it all.
And you guys just work, like, so you obviously just worked, and then you guys were first to market with the Urban Surf for the Love event in the festival.
I'm pretty sure we were first to market. I can't.
Because Ben works really close with, and you obviously are doing the same thing, working really close with the governments in each state to make those things happen, and putting COVID checks in place and all those kind of things. How much rigmarole is involved in that? Because I can't imagine it's easy.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I feel bad. Like Ben is constantly in a meeting, on a Zoom, on a phone call with health in all states.
Yeah.
And the thing is everything changes so quick.
Yeah, day before.
Like you can't really plan for this. Like all of a sudden it's like, cool, your Gold Coast event, you can have 10,000 people. One case, oh, now you can only have 5,000 people, but you've got to have masks, got to be seated, can't be drinking while standing. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
There's no point.
Yeah.
The festival is about dancing, having fun.
Yeah. That's why we had to postpone. Like some of the things that they were coming at us with, we were like, I'm not having patrons sit on the floor, sit on the seats,
bring a picnic rug.
Bring a picnic rug, you know, sit there while watching flight facilities with your mask on while not drinking or eating.
Zero vibe.
Weird.
Yeah, absolutely no vibe. Yeah. So you guys obviously did the Urban Surf one. How was that?
Oh my God.
I went the first weekend. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I got to surf, and I got to like go in the pool, and I was just like I was saying to Tommy, I was like, man, I just like not seeing live music for so long. Like just a DJ set, like big sound system, like that atmosphere, that vibe, all the things that festivals bring. It was like when Dina May came on.
Dina
Amy, sorry. And she played like a Spice Girls song. I was like,
that was the highlight of my day.
I was like, I said that I was sitting with the Hard Fizz boys, and I was like, this is what I miss about music. This is everything that like, now I know why these things exist and why these things do. When you take it away, and you give somebody back that feeling and those vibes and that energy and all the things that festival brought, man, it felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just everything. Hey, it's about like friends coming together, obviously the music, and then you've got the wave pool just sitting there in the background with like the most perfect barrel coming every minute. Or like, I think there's 20 waves a minute. Like, what more could you want?
I was puffed.
Yeah, I saw you coming out.
I was super puffed.
I think Tommy was getting it on camera, actually.
Yeah, we got a couple of SARS and TARS.
I was so puffed. Thank you to you and Ben for being involving us, but like bringing those things back to life and making sure those things didn't disappear with COVID. Because that's what's important is like we get like at some stage we need to get back to living the way we lived and doing the things we used to do. There was obviously a really refined version that was COVID safe. But like in Melbourne, like you still had to wear a mask on the train and all those kind of things. I didn't like, as weird as it sounds, it felt good going into a place with that amount of people, but everyone felt okay that they didn't need to wear a mask. Like everyone had, like, obviously the trusty, like there was lots of trust between that community.
Yeah.
And everyone would walk in and everyone was just dancing and partying. Everyone kept their distance. There was no like crazy.
Yeah, there was no crazy.
There was no like crazy mosh pit or anything like that. No one was on top of each other. The bar lines were spread out. There was no markings on I don't even know where there was markings on the floor. No markings on the floor or anything like that. And everyone just like gave each other distance and enjoyed the party.
And I noticed too, like normally people don't really sit and use the furniture.
Yeah.
And that event, like there was obviously the people that were skeptical about being out and about, which I totally get. Melbourne, you've had 17-week lockdown last year.
They've had a shocking time, yeah.
Like you've state government needs some help. I totally get it. But everyone was using the furniture like along the pool, like the grandstand. Like it was just such a nice vibe. Like whether or not it was raining for bloody Ocean Alley, like it was still high vibes. It was a good time.
When the sun came down, oh man.
I know.
Vibe. What do you actually do for these? What do you actually do for these guys for the love?
For the love, I'm head of partnerships. So I basically bring in you, Exhibit A.
Mr. Consistent.
Mr. Consistent.
Business.
Yeah. And just brands that I feel that are aligned with what we are and that are going to elevate our brand a little bit more. You know what I mean? Which is you guys were, I mean, this was probably the perfect brand alignment, I think, that we've ever had. We just need to work on those bloody ABBs, but you know.
ABB laws.
Yeah.
State government's listening.
State government's bloody annoying.
State government's listening.
Yeah, if you're listening out there, mate.
Let us serve one standard drink at a festival.
I know.
We're making pretty cocktails. We're not making people, we're not here for rapid intoxication.
I know. You drink this slow too.
Yeah,
Look
absolutely.
at us.
It's time.
It's a massive time.
Anyway.
Yeah. I basically come up with the creative, bring the deal in, come up with the creative, and basically just make sure that everyone's happy.
Yep. Because that's like you were marching around. Like you're on a goal, you're on a mission. Artist needs to be here, brand person's there.
Yeah.
Aligning like Ocean Alley turned up for an interview. You're like, rightio, here's some margaritas. Like you did so much hard work on the back end, making sure that our product and the other brand's products ended up in the right people's hands.
Of course.
The photo opportunities happen and
it's not just about obviously the consumers. Like obviously I want that because that brings in the dollars and brings in the revenue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like for a brand like you, like I guess because I've worked on the other side, you know, and we've done hair events or something when I was at Edwards & Co. I understand what the brand that's the partner wants.
Yep.
And now I work for the actual head guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand the
relationship that those two things need to have.
Exactly.
It's super important. It's not for us. It was a lot of money as a business to get, you know, sponsor the event and then obviously send stock down and the stock's on consignment and all those kind of things. But then they're all the things that make it feel good. Like when I see Ocean Alley, like it gives us some sort of promotional material around, oh, we're here. And then like June Rats posted our bar the other week and stuff like that. And then
that's cool.
It starts to make a bit of a community and starts to get us involved in that festival community because like we belong in there. Like I feel like as a brand we belong in there.
Especially out the back in those you belong in the riders.
The VIP areas and the riders and all those kind of
also
things,
the artist riders. Like when we, I think it was like the Ocean Alley Day, we didn't get around to it for the Fisher Day.
Yeah.
The Ocean Alley Day, the girls gave me like the mix with the tequila and the shaker. Like it was a vibe back there when Ocean Alley rapped. We were all having a great time making margaritas.
Like Chloe Fisher, Paul's wife, actually, she hit me up in the crowd because she worked from around here and like we kind of know each other.
I remember that.
And she was like, hey, they won't serve me a mocktail margarita. And I was like, you wait here. And I went and made someone to go get her like 2 bottles of margarita mix and whatever. And then the next minute, like her and all her friends are up there drinking.
Yeah, because we had a few of our friends were pregnant. So
so everyone was drinking margaritas and stuff. So it was like, it's really cool that we got to be involved in that and like at least people know about us and that we can provide those opportunities. And we want to be in riders. We want to like our customer goes to festivals.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be in festivals.
Yeah, 100%. It's getting there. We just got to work on those bloody levels.
Yeah. What's the hardest part of what you do? Is it on the day or is it the lead up?
Look, I mean, I guess there's different. Like in the lead up, it's just like a jigsaw puzzle. You're trying to map it all out and put it all together, and everything kind of changes. I mean, before COVID, it was just organization that would change, but now with COVID, it's even worse because it's like, fuck, there's a case. So now we're like limiting this back or whatever it may be. On the day, the hardest thing is like not stopping. I guess I run on adrenaline. I get there at 8 a.m. and I pretty much finish at midnight, and you just run the whole day. You barely get time to go for a shower, but then you like look and you're in your exercise clothes and you're like, go have a shower and get presentable. You look disgusting.
Because there's no time, like most people don't understand this. It wasn't like you just don't turn up on the day at festival starts at 12. You don't turn up at 9 or 10. You're there from like 5 in the morning, making sure everything's bumping in, making sure everything's set. And then that's when the real work begins, is like doing all the heavy lifting and making sure all the jigsaw pieces that you've sent, all the emails and the phone calls and all those things come together. Yeah. And then everybody else turns up. Yeah. You have like 2,000 people, anywhere between 2 and 20,000 people come through the door.
Even before that, when all the brands turn up and you're like, oh shit, that menu. Like,
I remember being like, where the fuck's my menu? Like, Bianca, where's my shit? Still not there. I want to see what it looks like because I'm still on the Gold Coast. I'm like, is this shit turning up? Like,
what's the signage? Send me a fucking photo.
I remember reading, I was stressing hard because I wasn't getting any answers, and I was like, I just want to see what it looks like. It's cost me money.
I know, but now that you've like seen how stressful it is and how it works, now next time you will be the most cool, calm and collected guy. You'll be like, Bianca's got it. I'm not
usually
worried.
pretty good when it comes to events, but that was like not
stressful.
The fact of me not being able to be there and sending a team and like the micromanaging style of manager came out in me.
Yeah. I think it comes like events, when it comes down to that final hour, the micromanaging comes out in everyone.
I use like, where's this, where's that, why isn't that set up, and fucking blah, blah, blah. And then that like, there's like, you're the person that owns that space, and you just go, rightio, these are the things, and listing them off. And that's when people like yourself, that's when, you know, you really come to life and make shit happen.
Yeah. And I'm super OCD about things. So if something is like just slightly off that I want front on or whatever it may be, I'm like, that's not right. Like, we need to redo this.
I remember somebody like with the chairs we'd rented, somebody like fell through a chair right in front of me, and it was like in the first 15 minutes of the festival, and I was like, I rang the event chick and I was like, hey, that chair needs to be replaced either now or tomorrow or whatever happens.
Just remove it offside.
Remove it. Somebody just fell through it. And it was right in front of me. I was like, make it happen. But they're the kind of things that you make happen for people and brands.
Yeah, exactly.
Any surreal moments where you're like, holy shit, this is so bloody cool. Like, I can't believe this is my job. Like when you get to the end of a festival and you like that night when Fish closed out for love, like I imagine there's those times, every time you do a festival, there's those things that happen. You're like, wow, this is how amazing is this? Or like Ocean Alley closing out the festival, and when
it's always like kind of the last, because obviously I'm running around like a crazy bitch for the first, few hours. It's always like at that sunset time for me. Yeah. And I'm like, Dina, I obviously tour manage her, so I've got that strong bond with her, but I always try and watch her set side stage, and there's a few key songs that she throws in her mix just for me. Yeah. And she's always at sunset, and I just look out at the crowd and I'm like, fuck, is this my fucking life? Yeah. Like, shit, it's good. Do
you purposely like try to book her on that sunset set, or is it
Ben? We all love her because her sets are just always like they're that upper time where you just kind of like want to start to get to dance at that sunset time, but before 2 or 3 main acts. But I've done FTL with her as a tour manager before I even was working for Ben, and I'll never forget it. It was like Rufus Du Sol, I think it was 2018 maybe. And it was Feb, it was Melbourne, so hot. And I was sitting on the stage filming her like hidden behind a speaker, and I was just watching her and looking at the crowd, and I'm like, fuck, this is sick. Like, this is like our life. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
When there's that many people in front of you like dancing, you're not even playing the music. There's that many people like in the zone together. Yeah. Something weird about it, eh?
Yeah. Something weird.
Big vibes, big energy, big vibes,
energy. Yeah.
Sunsets.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Exactly.
How do you, like when you go through, like obviously the adrenaline keeps you going on the day, but how do you, like you get to the end of the day and then like Urban Surf, say, was a 3-day festival. A lot of festivals are 1 or 2 days now, or like you go on tour. How do you stay motivated to even wake up? Like you go to bed at, so I know you go out and party a bit after, like you're a bit of a party animal.
It's part of the job. I'm entertaining the artists.
Like, I get it's part of the job, but how the bloody hell do you stay motivated or like wake up and get back up and just do it all again, or like go to the next place?
I have no idea. I run on crazy adrenaline. I remember after Fisher at Urban Surf, I think I got home at 6 a.m. and the Ocean Alley boys were walking in from the plane with beers in their hand, and I was like, these are my people, like legends. And I then went to bed, had 2 hours sleep, and then went back to work.
And then we had a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, you get Bloody Mary. I had Mr. Consistent free flowing.
Yeah, we had a Bloody Mary.
That day was good.
We went on.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just love what I do so much. Like, I know that sounds so cliche and lame, but like, I just love it. And I used to be like that at Edwards & Co as well for, the first, I'd probably say 7 years. Like I was loving it. You're traveling, you're on the road. I'm going between country to country doing education or whatever we were doing. Yeah. And there was never a day that I was like, fuck, I don't want to be here.
I hate my job.
You know what I mean? I hate my job.
Yeah.
I never hated my job. Like I've always like loved it.
That's the way
it's the way that you make it as well.
And if you don't like it, get out and do something else. 100%. Do something you want. Make your life.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get another drink. And then we're going to go into, we've got some questions in here. We've got some other, we've got the game here that
Love it.
I know you've got some secrets.
What happens on tour stays on tour, babe.
You're kidding. We'll get another drink and we'll come back and I want to get more into this music festival shit and actually like what it's like to manage artists. Cause I imagine there's some
highs and lows.
Yeah, highs and lows and some prima donna moments. Full show.
There definitely is.
All right, let's get a drink and we'll come back.
This episode is sponsored by our events team. They're out there shaking up cocktails and helping you celebrate the good times. If you'd like our team shaking up cocktails at your next event, just head to mrconsistent.com.au and click on the events tab. Now back to the episode.
All right. This is where we cut in to this episode. We've got Bianca back in the studio because last time we chatted, everything has changed for you. Literally, like, this episode was meant to go live, I think, a week before For the Love was actually going to happen. That's now been, Gold Coast has been postponed, Perth has been postponed, Melbourne's announced, I think. But what the hell is going on? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, how what's going on?
I know. It's literally like a conversation that...
I just got goosebumps when I asked that question because it's literally like, what the fuck is actually going on?
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. Like behind the scenes, like everyone is just trying to get something done. Like we're just all working our asses off to actually get an event across the line because right now it's like every time that you do, something just comes up and you get smashed down. So we are working on other events, but it's not looking good with how Sydney and Melbourne are obviously looking right now. And Gold Coast, there was no way that was going to go ahead. Like that announcement, we probably announced, I think, a month before. Yeah. Because like we were in a lockdown, like the whole of Queensland was in a lockdown. There was no way, and we're still sitting at restrictions now. So, I mean, the industry's extremely deflated. But
you guys must be feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. Constantly.
We've taken a hit. And it's not just obviously for promoters. It's like the artists, it's the roadies. They're actually the ones I feel the most sorry for. It's the roadies because they actually only make money when they're touring. Yeah. Whereas for us, we can keep promoting a different event and put the tickets out there and just hope for the best that everyone just understands the pain behind our events, that we're trying to get it up and running. But for us right now, the best thing that people can be doing is holding on to a ticket because we will eventually get there and it will be bigger and better when we do. Can you imagine that first event? When the cocktails come out.
I'm sure when this gets inserted, this part, we talked about For the Love and it was so good to have live music back and be in front of people and it was sick. And since then, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Absolutely nothing's gone ahead. There's been a couple here and there, but nothing of substantial substantial, like noteworthy besides like I guess football and those kind of things that are still going ahead in bits and pieces, which must be kind of a bit, I feel like a bit of a kick in the teeth.
It is
at
like
some areas.
I totally like everyone understands it. Like, well, to a certain extent, people understand it. You don't want to cut off the hand that feeds you, but it's a little bit frustrating when there's inconsistencies across different industries.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably the hardest pill to swallow for everyone is that, you know, like you go and you see the football go ahead and it's not even just music events for us. Like it's also like the wedding industry's taken a massive hit.
Yeah, huge.
You know, and then you've got some venues that aren't allowed to have any, like they're only allowed to have a certain amount of people that are sitting, not standing.
Yeah.
I know like the Zoo, for example, in Brisbane, like they're massively struggling because they've got like, they're a kind of grungy underground like club. You can't have an artist in there because they don't want to be they don't want people being seated.
Boring.
And then you can't book it. So like it's venues, like live venues.
I remember they're our first on-premise venue. The Zoo.
Really?
Yeah, they're our first, and like I remember we'd gone in there and I'd given her the story, Pixie. I'd given her the story.
She's a really good mate of
and she's
mine.
like, rightio, we're gonna do cocktails. And then she's like, shit, people are seating. And like the cocktails went off because everyone was seating, but she's like, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like all the hard work you put into it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like an empty reward at the end of the day. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've been to gigs like during this pandemic, obviously at Miami Marchant, and it was seated, like it was Nick Cunningham. That suits him. That suits his vibe. Like you can't go throwing like, you know, a $1 into a bloody venue and expecting everyone to sit down. Like I remember Last Things, I went and watched them at Miami Marchant and everyone was seated. But then towards the last like song or two, everyone was just getting up going, fuck you, we don't even care.
Yeah, we're
and
done.
like the band are kind of like, we don't care. Like we want everyone to have a really good time.
Yeah.
You know?
But then the venue runs a risk of like the cops walking in or the licensing walking in and like fine line of like saying fuck you to a holy shit, we're closed for 2 weeks because we've been given a fine or a fine that we can't actually afford to pay because we've been closed. Like we ran the risk on booking this band, buying all the alcohol, doing all this stuff, and then bang.
Yeah. And then also too, like maybe there are a limit of restrictions as to how many people are allowed in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're going from maybe potentially selling, I don't know, 6 drinks per head to then having that kind of cut in half because the capacity's cut in half.
So many people don't understand that.
No one gets it.
There's like this secret equation that is like you can have a certain amount of people in your venue, you turn this many drinks, and this is where you become profitable.
Mm-hmm.
You cut the seating or the standing, you cut the route, the element of how many people they can actually legally fit in their venue to half, quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That equation no longer works.
Yeah.
Like you cannot physically make money in a, say, 100 square meter venue.
Yeah.
You can't make money anymore because you've been crushed to 25 square meters worth of actual normal people.
Yeah.
And people don't have as much money. They're not drinking as much. 6 drinks per head. It starts to whittle down your actual costs and
the staffing and then paying for the artist or even if it's not an artist, even paying for the DJ at the pub or something, you know. It just all those little costs all add up. The rent.
Everything.
Yeah. It's a hard time. But, you know, we're gonna be back. We're gonna bounce back.
I imagine this it's a bit different here. Like we're obviously located on, like you live pretty much
on the border,
smack bang on the border. Mm-hmm. We're located here in Burleigh Heads. We currently have staff stuck in Tweed Heads, Kingscliff that can't come over that are key staff members like production staff, our warehouse manager, the Sri production staff.
Isn't like one of
my business partners?
Yeah, I was going to say
Mikey, one of the founders who makes the cocktail guy of the business. Is literally stuck on the other side of the border and can't get across. And we're having obviously one of our busiest weeks purely based on people being in lockdown.
Yeah.
But we are dying.
Yeah.
Because we just can't even facilitate what's happening. We don't want to give their jobs away to other people. It's unfair.
Yeah.
They can't even come here. They're not classed as essential or whatever it is.
I'm hoping that it's not for that much longer, that element of it. Like, I mean, they've got another week worth of lockdown. So hopefully by next Saturday they get out of that and then they actually start to help out across the border. Like Anna from Nectar, she's just moved across the Queensland side of the
we did
border.
an episode with Anna like 2 weeks ago or whatever. I think it was launched like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw
she's passing bread like over the barriers of the fucking like border.
Of the border.
I'm not even kidding.
I've seen tradies like giving their tools across and stuff like that. It's pretty mad. You
wild.
obviously talk to like other people in the industry. Are others like you guys know you get like you and Ben who owns For the Love, like you guys are constantly working and doing things. You guys are regularly in contact with the government and the health people and all those kind of things. You guys probably have a little bit more of a direct line because you are in some way, shape and form you get some funding from the government.
We've just applied for another grant. But I think there's someone else that's obviously applied for it as well. But they've already got some money, so hopefully we get some as well. We find out next Friday, so that's good. Ben obviously is like got someone that he speaks to directly, I think there. So yeah, that's good. I mainly am dealing with the sponsors, obviously, that side of thing, which some sponsors are actually killing it, doing really well, and then others are, maybe their alcohol isn't doing as well or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's the artists that every time I put up something on Instagram, I'm actually trying to have a bit of a break because it is really full on, like dealing with everyone's opinions on Instagram and like the conversation.
And you engage in one thing.
Yeah.
Like you engage in like a conspiracy theory just to like have a laugh or like listen to someone's opinion or whatever it is. And then you just start getting fed.
Yeah.
Like the algorithm just starts feeding you like either vaccinated stuff or anti-vax stuff, whatever it is. It just it just comes in hot and you're like, whoa, phone down, see you later.
Yeah. Literally, like, you know what? Those funny memes that are from, oh my God, they put up one the other day of like the anti-vaxxer laying in the bloody, what are they called?
Hammock?
Yeah, in the hammock. I was dying from that. Some of them are actually funny, but now I feel that that's all that's in my feed, that Double Bay one. Oh my God, crack up.
Oh,
but
yeah,
they're
she's good.
only in my feed. But yeah, like I've tried to eliminate being on socials for a bit, just while it's a bit mayhem. But the artists are the ones that I've spoken to a little bit on Instagram, and it's hard to see, like, I follow a few artists around the world, like Fish being one of them, and like seeing him overseas just fucking killing it.
He's
like
back to normal.
He's fully back to normal.
Back to normal as it gets in America.
Yeah.
Whether
18,000 people was at like an under construction gig that he just did. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how?
How is this happening?
I
but
know.
then here, there's people that are stuck here that don't, like there's people, what's his name? You would know, Tom, the guy, Melbourne Ross's mate, friend of it. Generic.
Oh yeah, Generic.
And he's like a had Las Vegas residencies and all that kind of stuff. Hasn't DJ'd in like 12 months, 18 months.
Can he not get a exemption to go over?
I think he's trying, but he hasn't got, I don't know, something about the vaccinations and all that kind of stuff. He couldn't get vaccinated. Anyway, long story short, he has a guy that purely relies on income from DJing, hasn't DJ'd in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah,
maybe
it's heavy.
longer. And I imagine that's the same for
heaps
of artists that haven't played gigs that are on either Centrelink or government money or like, I don't know how they're living.
To be honest, I don't know how they're living either. Like, I mean, they must have had like a bit of savings in the bank.
Dina, for example, like how does somebody like that who plays gigs to make money?
Yeah. Dina, like she also is an actress. So she's been doing, a bunch of like self-tapes. She's also doing like auditions online.
Yeah. But you're mowing through your savings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like constantly mowing through savings.
Yeah, you are. I think she's pretty good because, I mean, as an actor, it's kind of, or as an actor as well as a musician, you kind of prepared for that kind of thing and you just keep money in the bank. It's more the roadies because they pick up like literally like, say if, I don't know, Flight Facilities is going on tour, right? They'll have this team of roadies and then that team of roadies then might go to the Dom Dollar tour and then they might go to the next. And it's like, fuck, what are these guys doing? Like, I don't know what he's doing now because I haven't reached out to him since LA's gone back up and running. But the tour manager of Rufus, I randomly messaged him, I think it was like earlier in the year to check in on him just because he was really quiet on social and I just messaged him and I was like, Nam, what's going on? Like, just wanted to check in. I've been thinking about you heaps. Like, you're literally in my mind. He's like, I've picked up a job. Like, I'm on the tools. I'm like, like that just breaks my fucking heart. Like, you're on the tools?
All these things that these people have worked so hard for in these careers.
Yeah.
Literally feels like they're getting flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. It's sad.
It is so fucking hard.
Yeah, it is really sad. But yeah, I'm just hopefully they don't go back, like everyone doesn't go back on the word once we get to a certain percentage of vaccinations. I've had my first jab. I'm feeling fucking great. Second jab next week. So hopefully they don't go back on the word, because if they do, that's when I think Australians will probably cause a riot.
Well, it's already happened a couple of times where people have gone out and like taken it into their own hands. Like it's happening.
I know, but like it's just not the right time to like do all this shit. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of a pandemic.
Timing isn't always good on those people's behalf. But
it's so funny, like if you think back of like the other pandemics that like the world's seen, right? Everyone just listened to the health minister. Like, why is it that everyone's like fucking just listening to what's on Instagram?
It's because, do you know what I mean? It's because it's back in the day, the news was the news, and the health minister or whoever it was would come on TV, and that's how you get delivered information from the government. It's not via text message or email or letter in the mail or whatever it is. Information is now delivered on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. That's all this information, and none of the information lines up, and the information it can be quite easily cut and screwed and skewed and to whichever way it is, and it can be taken out of context really quickly. Like back in the day, that stuff just never happen. Like I don't have I don't watch TV.
Yeah, me neither.
I get my news through Facebook if I want to engage or whatever it is, or like there's an announcement or whatever it is, I'll go on the live feed and watch it or whatever it is. But I don't actually engage in the news.
Yeah,
like
to be honest,
you take it day by day. And I like, for me, in this business, we're just focusing on ourselves and making sure our staff are safe. When they tell us to work from home, we work from home. We separate our production shifts, all that kind of stuff. We just it's week by week. You can't plan too far ahead. It takes its toll on certain parts of the business, and then other parts go, well, let's just kind of figure it out as we go along, right? Like,
literally.
Like I think we sent a couple of emails out this week, and we're like, hey, to like, I think it was Husk, maybe there's a brewery, Red Earth or something that's there. And I think we sent a couple of emails out and just said, hey, have you guys got staff stuck in Queensland?
Oh, that's a good
we've
idea.
got staff stuck in New South Wales. Do you guys want to swap or whatever it is? So I can't remember who we sent out that email to, but just like kind of.
That's cool. You're kind of like helping each other out, because they probably need the hand, and they've got staff in Queensland. That's awesome.
A friend of mine manages a Dan Murphy's.
Yeah.
At Mermaid. She lives in Tweed.
Oh.
So she's gone to the Tweed store, and then they're kind of people just adapting, but I don't think people.
It's hard to explain to, like Ben gets it when I talk to him about it, because we did For the Love in Tweed Heads just out at D-Bar, like Ebenezer Park. So everyone that's kind of worked on that event with me knows where I live. They're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. That's a shit situation for you. But when you're trying to like say it to even North Gold Coast people, as opposed to like, and Sydney people, like they're just like, what? What do you mean you're on New South Wales side of the border, but you're on the Queensland side? And I'm like, it's hard to explain. I live in New South Wales, but it's on the Queensland side of the checkpoint. Like where the checkpoints are, I'm on like a little island. Like
in this middle area.
You know what I mean? It's like this little like grey area. It's a fucking joke.
It's a massive joke.
Just call it Queensland.
And like people are lining up for like Jez, our production manager, lined up for like 3.5 hours only to get turned away.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's enough information out there. They're kind of just they're giving information, and then
I don't think that they know either.
There's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah. I just, I mean, everyone's just doing what they can, to be honest. Like, it can't be easy doing any of these jobs, like, especially those plays. I would hate to be doing that job. They're just getting told what to do.
Imagine. I watched this. I went down the beach the other day, and when the Gold Coast went into a lockdown, and I was going down the beach and I was going for a swim, and the police vehicle rolls up to a girl sunbaking on the beach.
Yeah.
Not meant to be sunbaking on the beach. There's not a single person around. Like he rolls out and he's like, can you just do some push-ups or something so like I don't have to kick you off the beach? Like, can you just look like you're exercising and then I'll move on? Like you can tell when they talk to you or like
they're deflated.
They're feeling like dicks when they have to give people that information. They're like, this is a joke. Anyway, that's enough talk about that shit talk. So you guys, you're just planning a whole bunch of other little
so we're just planning
music and arts festival things.
Yeah, we're planning the one that you guys were a part of, Urban Surf Series. We're planning a few of those for over summer. Just it's a lot more manageable, something like that. It's not a touring event. It's obviously just Victoria.
Yeah.
Also, Dan Andrews is very pro music and the arts. So it's an industry that we probably will get back to where we need to be by the time summer comes around because of him. So
when
that's
something
good.
happens like that, this is the net. When something happens like that, like you have like a lot of artists are located around Australia, right?
Yeah, that's the hardest bit.
I would personally be scared to fly to an event and then next minute, sorry, you got to go in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of these snap lockdowns where they give you, I think our last one was.
You're like, it was like 4 p.m.
6 hours.
that day or something.
It was 4 p.m. on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to even comprehend at the moment. But last December, I felt like Australia was in a much better position, given that it is coming into the warmer months. So fingers crossed, it's all okay. I mean, if you're going back into Queensland, if you're coming down to Melbourne and doing an Urban Surf Series, right, and you're an artist and you've got to go back into Queensland or Sydney, well, we probably can't get Sydney people, but you know what I mean? If you're going back to another state, if the other state goes into a lockdown, wouldn't you just want to stay in Melbourne anyway? You got mates and stuff. Like, everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, but then Melbourne goes into a lockdown. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, like it all costs money. Like all these things cost money. Like you got to find somewhere to stay. It's just like, it just feels like it goes on.
You're just like trying to help a mate out.
Or like some of these people have families that like, that's the other hard part.
That was one of the hardest things. Like when we were we were about to postpone Gold Coast. Before that, we thought of everything. We literally put forward like ideas of like artist bubbles with us. So like we weren't allowed to see anyone else. Yeah. We were like, we'll be tested every single day that we're on site. We'll be tested every single time that we fly. Like we were thinking of every single type of solution. And one of the guys from a band that was obviously down in Sydney, he's like, I just don't want to risk being away from my kid. Like I just had a baby. Well, you know, I think the baby's 1 or something, but like they're the other things you need to think about. You know what I mean? Oh, we were like, bring the kid, bring the bloody wife, bring everyone. We just have this massive entourage.
Yeah, we've got friends that are they're in like an NRL bubble up on the sunny coast, but like they're the new normal is quite scary for me personally, as somebody who has a small human. Yeah, that relies on me.
That relies on you. Got to feed her.
Yeah, literally. But what when you guys postpone something, like, it is crucial for people to hold on to their tickets. Like they've already paid for it, unless you are absolutely desperate for the money to come back. Like, and you guys will throw a festival.
Yeah, we will.
100%.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just going to come down to where we're at, but it's just going to
cut that audio out.
It's just going to come down to where we're at as a country. So I guess we'll just have to see, but we're moving forward. We've basically just said to all of the sponsors as well as like all of our suppliers, everything gets rolled into 2022. Yep. Yeah. I actually received an email from one of our suppliers up here on the Gold Coast, and she lost her job like in the last like week. And I was just like, oh, it was just a bit of a stab to the heart. Like people, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I won't be working on this with you next year. I've lost my job due to the events industry. Yeah. It's just so hard reading things like that. It's just not existent. And yeah, it's really, really hard reading that. And like, I don't even know this girl other than like phone calls every single week. You know what I mean? But it's really hard just understanding everyone's different circumstances. Yeah.
Some woos iron and rubbing of the ears. Yeah. To get me through it. Anyway.
Literally.
But thanks for coming back in and running over this stuff, because people just have no idea of like what happens when you cancel an event, like the role, like how many people it actually does affect. Like there's cleanup stuff, there's event stuff.
Did you see our little post that we put on?
Go on the For the Love Instagram, and you guys put up a post of like how many jobs that one festival actually has. And it's like a couple of days before. Yeah. It's the day of, it's the days after. It's not just the day. Yeah. It's a week sort of either side, months either side for a smaller amount of people, but like a huge amount of work goes into those things.
Yeah, you got like artists teams that's like about 50. Then you've got like bar staff that's like about 300. Like site crew, like it's huge. Like how many people just lose out? But
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we've just got to stick into it together. It's just hope for the best that everyone gets a bit of a go soon.
Absolutely.
Instead of just some industries killing it and us just not
having anything.
We're always the first one to get closed, like to get shut down, and always the last one to come back. It's really fucking frustrating. But
I bet.
Yeah, we've just got to stay positive. That's all we can do.
Well, I know where I'll be going as soon as it opens back up, and it'll be For the Love Gold
You'll be on the
Coast.
surfboard, urban surf.
I want to go back to urban surf. That's a very good reason for me to go back to urban surf.
Well, the sponsorship's there for you, mate.
Still open. We'll talk after this.
We'll talk after this.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in and
no worries. Thanks for having me.
Bit. But yeah, we'll probably. I think this will either cut back to a little bit more of our actual
games.
episode. Yeah, the games.
I know, because that was all fun. We'll come back.
It's got a bit more serious. Anyway, thanks, B.
Awesome. Thanks.
Let's talk about this managing artists thing. Because not many people have the insight into these people's. Like, obviously you're managing, you do a little bit of it inside the festivals, but you actually manage, who do you manage currently?
KX, which is a Sydney duo from Perth.
What kind of music are we talking there?
I'm talking like electronic kind of vibes.
Yep.
Like they're kind of like, their dream is like a Daft Punk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who else?
And then I tour manage Dina Amy.
Yep.
Our girl.
The girl.
Legend
girl. The vibe setter. Have you done anybody else?
Nah, that's it. Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, one or two times down at the beach hotel there at Byron Bay.
That could have been it. That could have been a Ferrari.
I know.
You could have been driving a Ferrari.
G-Wagon.
G-Wagon. Sorry, we don't like
You could have had
G-Wagons.
both with Tom and Jerry. Anyway. Managing these people, what does it involve? Like day to day, week to week, tour to tour? Like, are you on the road with them? Are you just?
I'm on the road with D. Probably not so much now, given the fact that I'm like on the other side of the world, I guess, like doing like the more festival kind of style. But I used to go on the road with her and like fly around. Yeah. It's nice. Like, you know, she's a one woman show. Yeah. She kind of needs that support. She loves that support. We're also best friends. So it's nice to, you know, have someone lifting you up and helping you do day-to-day things when you're trying to think about just your set. Yeah. But when I'm there, it's like, cool, I'll book the Uber. Let's get that flight. Here's your bags. This is what you need. You know what I mean? It's just
somebody
takes a load
do
off.
those little bit of, you know, there's not the domestic chores, but the chores that involve you making you turn up to a show and you can turn it on when you need to turn it on. Yeah. You can turn it on.
Exactly. And like even just like eating.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you want for dinner? I don't know.
Yeah. Or like, did you eat today? Like we're about to go do a set and you might drink tequila. Like, should we get some food? You know? Like just those little things.
Those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then the KX boys?
KX Boys, that's new. I actually started managing them in 2020, just as the pandemic started. But it's been good. Like those boys are so humble and so beautiful that I just love being like kind of like their mum. Yeah. Like I'm just making sure that they're like in the studio recording, making music. We released a few songs during the pandemic, which were great. Yep. And now they're working on so much new music. About to come up to the Gold Coast actually and work with a music producer, Matt Bartman. Yep. Don't know if you know him. He's the drummer of Last Lings. Do you know?
No, I don't. No.
Anyway, they're going to go do some work with them, with him. But yeah, like I can't wait to even go on tour with those boys because they're so much fun just hanging out in Australia. Like imagine when they're tour. Huge and people love them in Japan, which is weird. But imagine going to Japan and they're doing a festival there and I'm with them.
Festivals.
Fun.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
So what else is involved? Like you're working with because you're obviously a tour manager. Mm-hmm. What other departments they have? Like does Dina have other departments that sort of support her as well?
Yeah. So she's got a manager, Paul Sticks. legend. He manages her day to day. Then she's got someone, Steele. He's a legend as well. Everyone's just such good people.
You're in the music industry. You're having a good time.
Yeah, I'm having a great time. Steele's epic. He does all of her bookings.
Yep.
So it kind of goes like, you know, Paul will do like the day to day of like, let's book these flights, rearrange, make sure that Dina actually wants to do it. Steele does the actual booking, like, cool, we want to get her on I think she's about to do the winter warmers at Watson's Bay.
Yep.
Does she want to do it? Let's do it. This is what the fee is, all of that. Whereas like Paul organises like the day to day and I'm there to facilitate to make sure that Paul is happy with whatever Dina's doing. You know what I mean? So I'm like the middleman going, cool, what else do we need to do? Does she need to do an interview? Do we need, what flight do we need to get?
Having a friendship with that person, right? Being like, hey, we got to go, like we got to get up, we got to go do this, we got to go do that. All those kind of things makes it a bit easier versus a manager being like, go here, go there, go there. Somebody's there kind of walking them through it.
Yeah.
So you get 100% out of that person when they are playing that show.
Yeah.
And
then they don't have to think about anything else. Like, today, I've had to come here and do this podcast. All I've thought about is this bloody podcast all day. Like, I need a tour manager.
We can sort that out.
Josh, are you available?
Josh might be available as tour manager. Josh is a staff member of ours in Melbourne. But yeah.
That is one of the hottest men I've ever seen in my life.
Tell us what you really think. Those baby blues got you. Oh, that's so funny. You put up
Is it hot?
Someone got the heater on in here? Oh my God. So you put up a bunch of questions like you got people on Instagram, you put up, you're coming on here, somebody asks you what's the worst thing you've done at work and learned from it? Because like I know I've got loads of those stories that I could share, you know, like, and they're all about once you make that mistake, you probably will never. Yeah, you'll never do it again. What's that one thing?
Yeah, obviously there's been a few in my career, like at different jobs, but in music, oh my God, I'll never forget it. It was New Year's Eve. I'm not going to say any names. Maybe I should, because I mean, God, everyone's going to be able to piece the puzzle together. But I was doing a gig and I kind of got given the night off once midnight hit.
Yep.
Went and did like a little after party with Cassian in true Bianca style. Like, go with Cassian, go party, rage, network, make these relationships, which I did. And I came back and the alarm didn't go off.
That old chestnut.
Came back at 5 a.m, meant to be in a car by 6 a.m, thought I'd have an hour power of sleep.
Yeah.
Alarm didn't go off and missed the flight, missed the event.
Wowee.
Yeah. Had to call the manager and just say, hey, I fucked up.
Sorry.
I fully took the blame. It's not fair for someone else too, but yeah.
Sorry.
Won't be doing that anymore.
Cassian had me out all night partying.
Yeah.
We're good buds now, so just
FYI, me and Cassian.
Me and Cassian are cool. But we're not going to be there today at your festival party that you've booked us for and paid for.
Pretty much. Shit.
Did you get a grilling?
I didn't get a grilling, but I kind of got I felt like I may survive.
You would have felt like a dick anyway.
Yeah, I felt like a dick. I had my tail between my legs for a good 2 weeks.
Yeah. Wowee. Any others? Like, that's obviously the main one that stands out?
That's the main one. I remember doing something that pissed. Oh, yeah. I remember at Edwards & Co. I went on this date. I still to this day think that I was spiked. Went on this date in Melbourne and Jay and I were living in Melbourne. We used to do like 4 weeks on and 4 weeks in Sydney, and we were in Melbourne for like a 4-week stint, and we were living together there as well. And I came home, and the next morning Jay woke me up and was like, "You've got a staff meeting, get to it." And I'm like, "What?" I was so scattered. I don't remember anything. I think I was still drunk. I'm really not sure. Went to this staff meeting, was vomiting.
Foggy.
Vomiting at work. And Jay was like, "Get out of my sight." I was like, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "Do not come anywhere near me. I've never been hungover at work again." Well, not in hair. No. Like that was like at events, obviously it's a bit easier to be hungover. Perks of music industry.
Lead from the front, Bianca.
But yeah, I'll never forget Jake's face. I think he would never forget that face either. It's pretty brutal.
Have you guys started working on a plan? Like, obviously the borders are closed. We're not going overseas at any time soon. Are you guys working on stuff for, like you said, the KX guys are huge in Japan. Like, are you actually working to, like, as soon as the borders are open, talking to people, like trying to get those guys over there as soon as that does happen? Or is it like let's wait and hold off and see? And
it's more of like a let's wait and hold off and see.
It's scary, isn't it?
Just like right now, like getting your hopes up for anything is kind of just so like.
I've been let down like how many times?
I know. How many more times can you just be like hit across the back of your knees? You know what I mean? Like it literally, that's what it feels like. You just feel a bit shit. No plans. I think FTL 2022, we're trying to get some international acts in.
Yep.
I think Australia is wanting to be a little bit more lenient. Maybe with people that have had the vaccine. I'm not really sure, but it's looking more promising for 2022.
It's crazy because there is artists out there that are legitimately traveling and just like, obviously the money, they need to start making money again, because when you actually make music and you sell music, you don't make a whole lot of money.
No, you don't make much money off streams.
You don't make much money off streams, and no one really sells albums or vinyls and so, like those kind of things you don't make money from. It's the touring and the concerts and the big, the big paydays come from festivals or gigs. And they've got to a point where they're international, and if they don't start just traveling and doing quarantines and doing all that shit, like I know Fish is doing those kind of things and coming back, he's done quarantine like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, I think he did it like 8 times last year.
And you just like, they've got to a point where those things will become like scary enough. Will that become the norm?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of hoping that, like, say by next year we can, go overseas and we can do what we need to and try and like rebuild this music industry for everyone.
Yeah.
It'd be great if like we've got a vaccine that maybe we can, I don't know, home isolate for 14 days. But I mean, given what just happened with the Queenslanders from bloody sunny coast that have come from Victoria and touched point everything, the whole highway.
There's going to be selfish people.
I know. Do the right thing.
For the rest of the time we're alive, I think, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But yeah, that for me, I think like having international artists is a big part of festivals, but it kind of feels pretty cool when you put together, say, For the Love and it's all Aussie acts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that for me is like, that's pretty cool when you can actually fill a headline. Like I'm pretty sure Splendour in the Grass, Blues Festival lineups were all Australian acts. Must feel good, like at managing Australian artists.
I mean, when you think about it though, like most of the bloody good music is out of Australia.
Yeah.
Like we're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good to be able to like support our artists, even if you've seen them however many times, like, like Fly Facilities, for example, like you've seen them a million times, but they're always a vibe. Yeah. You're always there just having the sickest of time. Like, it's great that we can support those artists.
Because when those like lineups come out, like I know everybody does it every time. They're like, oh, Splendour in the Grass is the same as last year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fuck, did you have a good time last year?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, you're probably going to have a sick time this year as well. Like, get on board,
you're
buy a
probably
ticket.
4 drinks in. Like, who cares? You're having a great time.
Buy a ticket and support them. Support support local, versus wanting overseas artists. Or like if you had a good time with them once before, very good chance you're going to have a good time with them again.
Exactly. And like, aren't we just excited to be able to dance outside with friends?
I love dancing.
He does.
Most of the time when me and Tom played at Beach Hotel, it was just him playing and me
or
dancing.
Commune. Do you remember when you used to play and it would be like bikini contests?
I watched a video.
Do you remember those?
Yeah, mate.
I remember.
I watched a video of myself dancing the other day and I was like, whoa. Please don't do that.
I've still got one on my phone from Tony sent me, and it's in a shared folder. I don't know how the fuck to get off my phone. And it was that time that you were like unbuttoning my shirt, and I was real lit. We were on the mic, just fuck.
Tommy's a changed man now.
True commune,
real commune. Commune is a beach club in down in Coolangatta. It's way more chill now, but back in the day we used to have like these crazy penthouse parties and like. The owner
that has like 5 beds in there. It's not even a penthouse. It's just a weird sex bed party.
But then you think all the artists
parties?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
They were weird.
Like when Quickie Pro used to come to town and like all those crazy penthouse parties would happen. Man, that place used to go off like a frog in a sea.
So fun though. No regrets.
But it used to be Fish, Fritter, Bennett's, us. Like. Yeah. Other than us, everyone else is still going and going big.
I reckon we make Tom and Jerry back. We bring it back.
No one realizes it was like 9 years ago and the lineup was sick. We're like, Fish used to just play, like we used to play after him actually. He played before us.
Open for us.
They did.
did open for us. Anyway.
Oh, good times.
Bianca, we are going to play a little card game here, the Shake Up card game.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions here for you. It's a never have I ever card game.
Oh, God.
This is the sample pack. We've moved on from the ghetto. We had this shitty ghetto pack for ages. This is the real sample pack. Look how nice that is.
Yeah, they're
Look at
very
that.
nice.
Nice cards, little box. Yeah, nice. So you can drink with your friends, get weird.
So fun.
We will. Oh, what question? I'm going to let you choose.
Okay.
You want to choose?
Yeah, sure.
Are you nervous?
I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, fuck, what are you going to ask me?
Whatever if you have a story, you gotta spit it out. Never have I ever.
Okay, let's go this one.
You gotta read it.
I'm so scared to read it. Never have I ever partied with a celebrity. Come on, really?
That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee.
We've already told us that story.
We've
already told us the.
Who's your biggest one then?
Yeah,
who's
who's
your
like
biggest
that? Yeah,
celebrity?
Paris Hilton
Get absolutely.
with Fisher in Ibiza. That was definitely like the biggest celebrity that I partied with, and that was fucking fun.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah,
Like,
Paris Hilton.
fuck.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Look, I don't know if I'll get in trouble by Chloe and Fish with what happened. I don't know how much detail I should go into.
Oh, fuck.
Let's just say it was very interesting. She may have got kicked out
Stop
of
it.
High for drinking Fisher's vodka out of the bottle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, Paris Hilton, I would say, is probably my biggest.
That's bloody cool.
Yeah.
Any others? Were
The
you besides
Red Hot
besides
Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, do you remember when they played at where did they play? No, not Red Hot Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters. I met the Red Hot
Foo
Chili
Fighters,
Peppers on the beach in Bondi. Didn't party with him. I fucking wish I did.
Tried.
No, I just got papped with him. Didn't party with him. But the Foo Fighters, remember when they played at Quickie Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have like ended up back with them partying after that set when they played on the beach. And then
You've had access to a lot of people.
I have.
Good fun people to
I have.
party
I'm
with.
still friends with one of their best mates actually on Insta.
Yeah, good.
Like good vibes, good men.
Bianca.
Is that it? I thought we had to do more cards.
That's it.
That's fine.
Fucking pretty hard to top Paris Hilton, to be honest. Beats mine.
That's fine.
What advice do you have advice for people like going from a full-time job? That's probably one of, everyone on the Gold Coast here wants to work for themselves or they want to run their own business or whatever it is. Do you have any advice for people that are like, shit, fuck, I want to take the leap. I'm way too scared. Like you did it in probably the worst possible timing ever. Is there any advice you have for people that want to, I don't want to tell them to quit their day job, but like think that they want to change, they want to change it. They want to, you've got a dream, you've got an idea and they want to chase it.
I think you just do the side hustle. Like, it's good to have multiple different projects that you're working on at once. It makes you a better person. It makes you, focusing on those kind of things in life that are going to bring you revenue rather than partying or drinking your life away.
Yeah.
I think if you've got that side hustle and if you start to want to do that more than going to your day to day, then I think that's when you start to, put your pieces of the puzzles in place.
Transition.
Yeah, and start to actually focus more on that than focus on your day-to-day. And maybe drop back to your day-to-day part-time first so that you've still got some revenue.
So many people don't even do that. I went cold turkey hard. I was at Billabong and I was just like, I just wanted to do my own agency. But on the side, I was doing websites and building things for different people. And then I was like, righty, I'm earning a couple of $100 here and there a week. I can survive for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. But if I give it a fucking red hot crack, maybe I can make that transition out of full-time work into working for myself. And I'm here now.
Yeah.
And we have 60 employees or whatever it is. But like, it's so important to have a side hustle, feel the waters. If you've got an idea, you've got something you want to make it happen, then give it a go. And like, if you talk to most of our staff have side hustles or they have hobbies that they maybe want to monetize one day.
Yeah. I think it's just all about what makes you happy at the end of the day, what gets you out of bed. For me, it's like the first thing I do when I wake up is listen to music or I actually listen to a fair bit of podcasts, like listening to things like that and just learning, educating myself or doing things that make me feel happy. And music every single day, no matter what day, no matter what stress I'm going through. If I just listen to that, I'll put on YouTube, I don't know, Circle.
It's
I don't
like
know which one's my
educating
favorite.
yourself.
Maybe the one in China. Actually, no, the one in Greece the other day was pretty good. You know, watching like just this DJ take over in this epic location. That for me is like, shit, I need to be there. I need to work for that.
You literally have, like, you studied interior design
And fashion.
and you are now tour managing and working in festivals, which are two completely, they kind of work in synergy, right? There's some nice synergy there between those two fields, and they kind of play into each other, but they're two completely different jobs, two very completely different daily task lists and all those kind of things. So you just educate yourself and make the transition and have a go.
Yeah. And I think like learning all those things from like past jobs and past like, you know, being in hair, being in music, being in beauty, like all these different things, or being in fashion, I don't know, it's what's made me who I am now. So I think I don't know if I could be in music if you're talking to the young Bianca at 21, like just getting out of uni. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be ready. I think I'd get eaten alive. But like I've literally like worked my way and met some people, got my shit into some trouble, you know, like made friends across other parts of the world, and that's what's made me.
All the contacts come into line and all the things come into line, and now here you are.
You need a celebrity hairdresser? I've got you. You need a band? I've got you, babe. You need a makeup artist? I've got you.
Like I had pink hair there for a while. I might need a touch up. Where can people follow? Like where do you tell you? Do you got Instagram, Bianca? What's
of course,
it?
you follow me.
Yeah, I follow you. But what's it? It's at Bianca Boulden.
Yeah, at Bianca Boulden.
We'll put it up on the bottom of the podcast, so you can go follow Bianca, and you can see what she's doing. And probably the other one, good one to know, is go follow For the Love.
Yeah.
And when's For the Love coming? Because this podcast will probably come out mid-July, I think.
So the first one is actually Gold Coast.
Yeah, here we are.
And it's August 7th on Saturday. Flight facilities, Cosmo Midnight, Mall Rat, Busika, Last Things, Running Touch. That's the other one.
That's
I was
the other one.
Who else is it?
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
And Tom and Jerry.
We're in the car park.
You give me the hypers.
So go follow Bianca. Go follow For the Love. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
so much for telling your story.
Thanks for putting me on number 4. I love this.
Bro, you got there yourself.
I know. Well, mate, I'm coming back.
Happen.
If I get knocked off number 4, I'm coming back. Mark
back.
my word. Me and Josh sitting here.
Coming back. Thank you so much for coming in. I love hear it's really nice to hear. Like obviously, like I know what you do and how, like a little bit of how you got there, but learning your whole story in depth and making those career changes and those things that make you. So
Thanks.
I love listening. So good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks.
Go follow Bianca. Go follow For the Love. And we'll see you next week. Ciao. That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Go show the Shake Up some love and stay connected. Don't forget you can watch all of our episodes on YouTube. Also, jump over to our Shake Up Cocktail Gang Facebook page where you can find out who's coming up on the podcast. And if you've got questions for them, I'll ask the bloody questions. You can also use the code SHAKEUP for 10% off on mrconsistent.com.au. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember, shit that's fresh.